Fixing knee pain for the long term requires lots of butt muscle strengthening. In today's video, I'm going to cover my top 5 exercises that I give our patients to get their butt muscle stronger so that they can fix their knee problem for the long term. Now, doing butt muscle exercise strengthening is contrary to popular belief in the medical field because most healthcare professionals would recommend doing quad or hamstring strengthening. Those are the muscles on the front, the quads, and on the back of the thigh, the hamstrings. But the latest research is pretty darn clear on telling us that butt muscle strength is directly correlated to better knee health. And we see proof of this every day when we're working with our patients here in the clinic. Whenever we have them get their butt muscle strength up, it translates to their knee pain feeling better and better for the long term. I'm Dr. David Madoff, and I'm a specialist physical therapist over at El Paso Manual Physical Therapy. This channel is focused on helping people stay healthy, active, and mobile while avoiding unnecessary surgery, injections, and medications. Be sure to subscribe so that you don't miss any helpful videos that we put out to help you with your overall body health. Now, before I go into all of the exercises, I just want to give you a few tips so that you don't end up trying these exercises out and hurting yourself. 3 quick tips. Number 1, isolate your butt muscles as best as you can every exercise, every rep that you do. It's so key because if you allow other muscles to start working, like your quads, your hamstrings, your back muscles might also work, the front of your hips is another popular place it'll work, then you won't be able to get the full effect of the butt muscle strengthening. You might also cause some issue in your body that could increase the knee pain. It could set off back pain or some other issue. So really work to focus on firing your butt muscles each exercise and each rep that you do. The second tip I've kind of already told you about, avoid using your hamstrings specifically and your back muscles. But I want to hang on this just a bit more because it is very possible for you to get a cramp or a Charlie horse, like for the muscle to just tighten up really hard in the middle of the workout, and then you end up in pain later on, or you can really set off a sciatica issue, or it's just not a fun experience. So I want you to avoid getting any sort of cramps. And at the end of the video, after I show the exercises, I'll detail a bit more about why that happens. But just if you're starting the exercises right now, if you're gonna follow me, avoid any sort of cramps. Just stop the exercise, skip that exercise, or play with the motion and see if you can isolate the butt muscles a bit better. And the third tip, very important, you should not feel any worse in your knee pain during the exercise whenever you're doing it, and then afterwards. So if you do the exercises here in the next few minutes, you should feel better in your knees. You shouldn't feel worse in your knees, or even the next day. You should feel like you're improving your knee problem as time goes on. If you do feel worse in your knees, then that's a sign that the tissues that are involved in your knee, whether it's a ligament, a meniscus, the cartilage, you have arthritis, other issues that could be involved in the knee tendons, they are probably too irritated to take on these exercises right now. So you might be in a state where you just need to rest and recover a bit, give it some time so that it cools off, the tissues are calmed down, they're not so irritated and inflamed. Then you'll probably be better able to tolerate these exercises without increasing the knee pain. So if you're in that state, you're jumping the gun a bit, you need to have the right amount of no inflammation basically, or minimal inflammation in your knee joint. It can't be real swollen or hot. It needs to be at a relatively healthy state to do these exercises without knee pain. And as you're going through these exercises, just read your knee. You have to kind of tune in and feel what's going on. If your quads are stretching a lot, that's another high likelihood if your quads are stretching a lot, that's another sign that tells you there's gonna be a high likelihood that you're gonna set off a knee problem. So watch out for that as well. All right, let's get into it. I'm gonna show you the first exercise. We're gonna do a fire hydrant exercise. For this exercise, you're gonna have to get down on the floor or on your bed, on your knees like so. And if you have any sort of difficulty putting pressure on your knees, pad it up, get some pillows under there, put something cushiony, fold up some towels, just put some cushion under your knees. And if it's still bothering you, you're too irritated, you should not be doing this exercise. You're gonna get on your hands. You can be on your fists or flat hands, it doesn't matter. Just support yourself somehow. To do this exercise right, here's what I want you to do. I do a modified version from a typical fire hydrant. A typical fire hydrant, you just kind of do that and hold it there. But what I want you to do is straighten out your leg It doesn't have to be perfectly straight with your body, but you're gonna straighten out your leg and then intentionally tighten up your butt muscle right here. Squeeze that butt muscle real hard. You should be squeezing it as hard as you possibly can. Next, turn your foot outwards. You walk up a bit more here so you can see better. So right here, squeeze the butt, turn the foot outwards. You're still holding the butt squeeze really hard. Then you're gonna move your leg outwards just a bit, and you should feel your butt turned on real good right here. Now I can go further out with my leg, but my back starts to bend. So I'm gonna stop whenever my back wants to bend. So butt tight, turn out, push it out right here, feel the burn, hold it for 10 seconds. That's a good starting point, 10 seconds. You can do less or more depending on where you're at. After about 10 seconds, do the other side. Butt tight, turn the toes out, move out here, hold it for 10 seconds, feel the burn. Avoid arcing your back like so. In fact, if you suck in your abs a bit, it'll probably get you a better glute contraction. I feel it for sure. And what you want to do is about 10 reps on each side. So you'll have to alternate 10-second holds on each side. That's a good starting point. You can always go up from there. You can always go down too if you feel like you're that weak. But again, the focus is minimal to no hamstring work, minimal to no back work, a lot of butt work. You should feel your butt burning. Okay, next up, let's do some donkey kicks. I love this one to get the pulse out of the muscle. So same position, you're gonna be on all fours just like so. Now this time you're gonna keep your knee bent and you're gonna go straight up and down to just to touching the table or the floor or the bed, wherever you're at. Straight up and straight down. And this one you wanna do 30 reps. 4, and every time you come up, you're looking to max squeeze the butt cheek. I lost count. I'm just gonna keep going here until I feel my glutes toasted. Or if you feel your hamstrings starting to overpower your glutes, you need to stop. So actually, I feel my hamstrings starting to work, but my butt's still working quite a bit, so I'm gonna keep going. I'm still clear. Whew. Hamstrings working just a bit more, but butt's still in charge. That's what I want. Keep that knee bent. The more you bend it, the less hamstring will work, by the way. And after you do about 30 reps, I'm just gonna stop there because I feel that toasty right here. Then you just do the other side. Just go up and same thing. And I'm intentionally squeezing the butt muscle every single repetition so that you get a big glute contraction every single time. And you're trying to not make the hamstring work or the back muscles. Because if you're not conscious about it, if you're not intentionally squeezing that butt muscle, you're gonna start using other muscles that you're used to using and skip using your butt muscle. Whew. I feel it right there. So those are donkey kicks. The next one, bridges. We're gonna cover bridges. I've done this one before in a few videos, and I absolutely love this exercise for multiple reasons. It's a good one to start to add weight onto. And I'll show you what I mean here in a second. But before we do the bridges, it's critical that you get your abs right. So let me show you what I mean. Without the abs, you're gonna use the hamstrings and the back muscles a bit more. So what you have to do is push your back down as if I'm smashing my hand right here, and that turns on the abs on the front. And that's good. You need to hold that down. Next, you're gonna squeeze those butt muscles real hard. And I don't know if you can see this, but when I squeeze my butt muscles, my knees kind of wanna open. That's okay, allow that to happen. You wanna avoid actually pushing your knees together when you're doing this. And you can just try it out. If you squeeze your butt muscles with your knees open, they squeeze better. They react better. They engage or activate better. And as soon as you bring your knees together, they don't squeeze as good. And if you're doing your bridges like this, it's going to make you want to use those hammies more or the back muscles more. So allow your knees to be open and shoot. If you're a more curvy person or wider hips person, you can open those knees quite a bit. Foot position, whatever's comfortable for you. Some people will even put their feet together. As long as you feel your butt muscles working, you are on track. It doesn't matter how it looks as much as it matters how you feel if you're firing the right muscles. Okay, so back flat, squeeze the butt, my knees opened up, that's okay. Now I'm lifting. And I'm lifting to the point where I feel just a bit of stretch here. And I'm gonna back off a bit, still firing my abs here, flattening out my back, and squeezing my butt muscles real hard here. I'm okay with a little bit of stretch, but I am not okay if you have a lot of stretch on the front of the thighs here, because it is going to start to compress the cartilage in your knee joint. The quads right here will tighten up because they're stretching, and then they start to push the kneecap against the thigh bone, and it'll compress the shin bone and the thigh bone, the femur and the tibia, and that can start to set off knee problems as you continue to do this exercise. You may not feel it on the first rep, but if you keep doing this exercise over time, it can definitely set it off. And if you're very irritated, you'll probably feel it on the first rep. Let me just do some more reps here. So I'm gonna hold for 10 seconds, butt tight right here, 10 seconds. And I don't even have to lift to feel a good glute contraction. Watch, if I just do that, squeeze the butt without lifting, I'm not pushing up. I'm just holding my butt tight with my back flat. I feel my glutes working right here. It's a bit more intense if I come up, so I'm gonna lift up here to get the benefit of it. And you wanna do 10 reps like this. Just pause the video if you need to, or rewind if you wanna do the next few reps. I have to go on here. I have patients coming real soon here, so I have to hurry through this video just a tiny bit. Still gonna give you all the tips. After about 10 seconds, you can relax, and you should feel these butt muscles working. Ugh. Right, next we're gonna do the clamshells. I love this exercise because it really isolates specifically the gluteus medius, which is one of the key muscles that they found in the research helped out knee problems. All the glute muscles together definitely help out a knee problem, but if I had to pick one, I would say the gluteus medius. And if we're splitting hairs and getting sciencey medically here, the posterior half, the back half of the gluteus medius, is key in fixing knee problems. So I'm gonna show you how to fire that particular part of the muscle. You're gonna lie on your side, just like so. You can put a pillow under your head or support yourself however you want. Stack your legs on top of each other. Then what you're gonna do is look at your upper knee, the knee that's above the bottom one, obviously. So then you're gonna roll forward like so. My feet are staying together, and I'm just kind of rolling forward with my hips and spine so that this knee sticks out past the bottom knee. Once I'm there, I'm ready. I'm gonna lift up my leg and just hold it here a bit. And the goal is to feel the muscle back here where my back pocket is, right there, working. And I feel it. What you don't wanna feel is the muscle under your front pocket right here working, or into the thigh. I'm starting to feel this just a bit, so what I'm gonna do to isolate back here, the butt muscles, is roll a bit more, and my legs are blocking me, so I'm just gonna straighten out my knees slightly. Let me start over again. See, my knees are still bent. I'm a little more straight though, so that I can roll better. Then I'm gonna turn up like so, and I'm turning my foot up because that does make it a little bit harder. But then I'm gonna roll more forward, and whew, I feel it right there. And I'm trying to intentionally squeeze it as well, but in this motion, I'm lifting and tightening up this muscle too. Now, key thing here, you don't want to go as wide as you can, because then you're going to start using these muscles right away. You need to be in the best position to fire this muscle right here. It does not matter how high you lift. It matters how well you fire this muscle. So 10-second holds, 10 reps is a good starting point. You can increase it to 15 or 20 seconds or do more reps to get a better contraction through here. The goal is to tire out your butt muscles. That's what's going to allow you to get stronger over time. Do the other side as well, obviously. If you've got a knee problem on just one side, it's okay to just focus on that side, but eventually you want to isolate both sides so that you evenly strengthen them. For this next one, I'm going to adjust the camera angle so you can see my legs. So we're going to do an isometric squat. This one is fantastic at getting the butt muscles to work, but I saved it for last because there's a little higher risk in increasing your knee pain on this one, so you have to pay close attention. All right, so watch here. I'm gonna stand up, you're gonna see my legs, and a key thing here is turning your feet out and turning your knees out. Oftentimes, this is called a plie squat. That's fine if you wanna call it that. I just care that your butt muscles are getting stronger, whether it's a plie squat or any kind of squat. I don't care. I care about your knees. I care about you not having surgery, not having to rely on medications and injections. So if it looks a little funny to people, who gives a flip? I'd rather you not have surgery and be active and healthy, and this is gonna help you do that. So let me show you. So you're gonna stand with those feet turned out a bit because that sets up the butt muscles to want to fire better than if they're more forward or in. Then what you're gonna do is a little baby squat. If this hurts your knees already, then just do an even more shallow squat. It's okay if you just even bend your knees just a tiny bit. That works. You're still gonna get a good glute contraction. Once you're there, then what you gotta do with your hips is thrust them forward, just like so, and hold it there. You'll feel this working a tiny bit, that's okay. But what you should think about feeling is these muscles working back here. You need to feel your butt muscles tighten up as you hold for 10 seconds here. And if you want to go a little more deep, that's fine. Just keep everything the same. You have to turn your toes out. And then as you thrust your hips forward, you also have to push your knees out wide. You can't have your knees in. And you can play with it. If you put your knees in, you'll feel these muscles work more. And as soon as you turn them out and make sure your hips are forward, this shuts down and this turns on more. You need these muscles to work on this exercise. Hold that for 10 seconds, do 10 reps, and you'll start to sweat a little bit. You won't get the biggest sweat ever, but you'll start to work and you'll feel your body heating up and your glutes working pretty good. And it's okay to do it more shallow right here. You can still get a good glute contraction. And this is phenomenal. And this should not hurt your knees. Like I said, you need to go higher. Don't squat so low if you feel like your knees are hurting. So there you go. Those are the top 5 exercises that I would recommend for somebody that's dealing with a knee problem. Now, these are all kinds of knee problems. It's not specific to one. I'm talking about knee arthritis, ACL problems, meniscus tears, cartilage issues like patellofemoral pain syndrome, IT band problems. This helps tons of issues because oftentimes the root problem to all these different diagnoses that I just mentioned is weak glute muscles. They're showing this in the research. And just a reminder, if these exercises are hurting you, you're not ready for them. You have to do something that's a little lower level, a little less intense. You might modify these so that they're not as intense, or you might need a weight. You might occasionally need a brace, especially if you have an ACL problem or some other ligament problem. And if you're just having trouble getting that irritation down, then you probably need to see a healthcare expert to help you out with your knee problem so that you can get to the point where you can exercise to begin to solve the root problem and fix it for the long term. And then these exercises are just kind of the beginner level of progressions that you need to work up into so that you can maintain an elevated level of strength and keep your knee healthy for the long term. Now, oftentimes when we take clients to these exercises, we're hanging out on these exercises for anywhere from a couple of weeks to a month, maybe 6 weeks. And then we're challenging them more by adding weights. We're holding for longer. We're doing reps and we're going for 50, 60, 100 reps even. And they're getting their glute muscles stronger. Sometimes people even come back saying their butt's bigger in the good way where it's muscle, not the other thing that can get bigger. And so we are big advocates of increasing your strength. In order to maintain your knee health, you've got to maintain that glute strength. So you've got to do some sort of maintenance exercises once you've elevated your glute strength to make sure that your knee problem isn't coming back over and over again. Now we get people in here that are weightlifters, they're power lifters, CrossFitters, they enjoy lifting weights. And the question that I always ask them is, how often do your glutes get tired during a workout? How often do you feel sore in your butt muscles after a workout? If the answer is rarely to never, then you're probably missing strengthening your glutes. And although you're probably a strong person, you can pick up lots of weight for your body weight and you're fit, you've been doing it for a while, it could be that you've been training into a muscle imbalance that's led up to this knee issue that you're dealing with. So even for strong people, they can have a relative weakness where their glutes might be stronger than somebody that barely ever works out, but because their other muscles are so compensated to do the exercise they've been putting themselves through, it's weak, and that needs to improve. And these exercises are a great starting point for that person. Now, if you've been doing these exercises for a while and you're looking for the next steps, we have a program called the 28-Day Knee Health and Wellness Boost Program. You can find more information about this in the description below, and you can get a ton of exercises, a ton of other help. It's not just glute exercises, it's a bunch of other stuff so that you can more thoroughly and comprehensively fix a knee problem for the long run. Now, if you thought this video was helpful for you, if you are trying out these exercises, I want to hear about it. Please Comment below and let us know if you got your glutes tired, if they're sore a bit, in a good way. And please, if you're hurting your knees, again, please stop. I can't stress that enough. Do not do this if your knees are hurting doing this. There's something else going on. You need to address that first. And give us a like if you thought this video was helpful. And please don't forget to subscribe so that you don't miss out on more helpful videos, as we put them out just about every single week. Thanks so much, guys, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.